right, those of you virtual today and tomorrow, you are going to be working on this sheet here. This was a part of your Esperanza Rising packet. The only two pages that were in the packet were the book cover and this page, so hopefully you still have this. If you don't, I attached a picture of a blank copy on this assignment so you can use that and just write down your answers on a separate sheet of paper or print it off if you have printer capability. Okay, so the directions say, consider the identities of Esperanza. Think about how her identity relates to the problem she faces in the novel or what she learns. So we're going to look at these different aspects about her and kind of think, how does this influence the story? How does it affect the story? How does it change what goes on in the story based off of these things with Esperanza? So we're only looking at it from her perspective here. So now age, think about how old she is. She's probably just about as old as you are. How does that affect the story? So we're going to write a few sentences in each little box here. How does her age affect what's happening to her in the story? Kind of a lot of different aspects you could go with this. Her age before everything bad that happened in her life happened, like toward the beginning of the book, how did that affect her? How does that affect her throughout the travel to the new ranch? And then also now, especially during this part of the story, how does that affect her working and her ability to help her mom? The next one is gender. So how does her being a girl affect this story? So I'm just going to put a little post-it note here. Okay, so how does, or you could even explain how it would be different if she was a boy going through all this too. Could be a lot of different perspective or a viewpoint or a story if that was the case. Socioeconomic status. I wanted to kind of look at that for a second here. A lot of you probably don't know what that means, and so I'm going to give you a little hint here. So socioeconomic status is another word for class. So in our world, we have upper class, middle class, lower class. It's kind of based off of where you live, how much money you have or your family makes, and what class you're in, I guess you could say. So think about where she lived before versus where she lives now, what kind of money they made before and what kind of money she makes now as a family or her family, and then what class were they in before and now. So how is that all affecting the story? Her educational background is the next one. That is, well, we know that she went to school before she had all those bad things happen to her, and now she's not in school, but how does her educational background give her all this insight, or how does it affect the story? Geographic regional background. So think about location, where she lived before, where she lives now. So that means think about a map or location. Okay, how is that affecting the story? And then the last one is language. So think about the languages that she speaks. She speaks more than one. So you could talk about how maybe they both influence the story or how they work together to both influence the story also. So you are going to fill out each little identifier with a few sentences to answer your question. What I'll do is I'll zoom out here with all these little notes on there that you can look quickly. Otherwise, this is going to be doing your next in-person day. Kids that are in class today and tomorrow are going to be working on our debate in class. So this is your turn or your assignment when you're at home these next 2 days.